Yo, what's up? What it do? And welcome to another episode of Game Chat. We back and we're reacting to something. I don't know what it is. I hope it don't have LeBron in it, but it might. No one does.
Yeah, it's a good chance there's LeBron's involved. Now that he's a Laker, we know it's coming. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he got. I'm sure he got some interesting for us today.
I'll be some heat. First and foremost, don't make it look like I'm a LeBron fan. I hated this nigga for the longest time. He's on my team, got us a ring. I don't hate him anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, now that he's a Laker, I know what it is.
All right, let's go and get this thing started.
So Luka signs this huge contract. He's 22 years old. He signs this monster rookie extension. And people start talking about whether or not he is the next face of the NBA. To be clear, there's a lineage to this. The face of the league was two people. It was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird together. They passed the baton to Michael Jordan. He passed the baton to Kobe Bryant. He passed the baton to LeBron James. Now, the time is coming where LeBron will pass that baton. I don't know quite how soon. He remains the face of the sport right now. But the obvious other candidates are all older. Kevin Durant is an older player. Steph Curry is an older player. Kawhi Leonard is a little less old, but also not available enough. He can't become the face of the league. Those guys, I think, are not next. The question is, who's next? Who's next in that line? Someone who's not yet 30 years old who could become the next face of the league. That's the question of the day. Nuno, what's the answer?
Over this past weekend, I think I finally came to a true realization. LeBron James, as we knew and love him, that guy is done. Like, that's over. The Lakers played Minnesota on Friday, and of course they lost. In Minnesota, after the game, they posted this on their social medias. This one picture literally looks like a young Michael Jordan versus an old, clearly aging LeBron. His hair has officially hit George Jefferson's stage, and though his numbers can still mask it, his impact on the overall game has significantly declined. This made me look up highlights of the LeBron that I fell in love with in middle school. The one that had the bush, the one that danced and could literally elevate me, you, Skip, and Shannon to 60 wins. The one that truly could be argued as the greatest player ever. Maybe it took me longer than others, but my childhood LeBron is done. Then I watched Atlanta versus Milwaukee. And Giannis shot way too many free throws with some truly favorable calls. But nevertheless, they won. And they're now 5-0. Milwaukee isn't this extremely deep team. They're not Golden State. They're not the Clippers. They're pretty top-heavy when you really look at it, especially without Middleton. Right now, Jrue Holiday is their second-best player. And before this Atlanta game, he was having an extremely rough start. Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis, they're probably the next best two. And what they do best for Giannis, space the floor as bigs, they haven't even been great at so far this year. Nevertheless, the Bucks are still undefeated. Chris Middleton has given his team a consistent 20 points a night on very efficient splits over the last 5 seasons. Chris has been claimed as the Bucks closer, which I can agree with to some extent. But even with that being the case, going back to last playoffs, the Bucks are 11-4 in his departure. And for Giannis' whole career, he's 20-4 without Middleton. That's an 83% winning percentage without your second best player. All this made me confidently come to the conclusion Giannis is actually the quote-unquote next LeBron. Obviously, when comparing a player to someone of LeBron's magnitude, it will never be precise. What we've seen from Jordan and Kobe, that will never be duplicated. Having similar careers, styles, and mentalities, that's a true rarity. They even had the same damn coach. But for Giannis, his impact, his consistency, and truly what his production means for the rest of the NBA, that is very comparable to LeBron's. In 2017, when Giannis first had his breakout, this was some people's perceptions about this comparison.
But the story now is, good God, I've at the end of last year and now is, the Greek freak, Milwaukee. Giannis, and I struggle pronouncing his name sometimes, Antetokounmpo. He's the next. I've read 3 stories this week. Next LeBron.
Hold up, real quick. I don't understand what's so hard about this man's name. I swear to God, everybody in media cannot pronounce this man's name. It annoys me so much. It's not that hard. Anyway, my bad. We'll keep going.
No, and it's not close. He's talented. He's long. He's young. He's a freak. He's not going to be LeBron. And Giannis is a freak. He is not close to LeBron James. He is just a wild, freaky, great, fun, crazy player who's going to score a bunch, get good numbers, and be a blast to watch, and he may average 38 points a game one year.
This was the 2018 season for Giannis, where he essentially lost to Boston without their best players. But after this year, LeBron left the conference, and Giannis officially took his spot. Last year, I made a video about Giannis now having the LeBron problem. And basically the summary of that video was how people struggle to appreciate his skill set because it was so multifaceted. You can't identify LeBron as anything exact. Like KD's a great scorer, Magic's a great passer, Scottie Pippen's a great defender because he's so versatile. And that's what Giannis has truly become. The impact is always going to be evident, but the skill set is never specific. In 2009, I believe LeBron became the best player in the world. And that's just my opinion. The Cavs went from 45 wins the previous year to 66. And the only real addition they made was Mo Williams. That season, LeBron won the MVP. And after he tasted what winning looked like on just a small scale, look at how much winning he did for the next few seasons. Literally 10 years later, Giannis won 44 games in 2018, just like LeBron's 45 in 2008. And the following season, he won the MVP, just like LeBron, and his first 60 wins, just like LeBron. And look at his winning percentages in that time span. Number one, just like LeBron in his peak athletic years. Within the Eastern Conference, and this is why I feel like Giannis has really become the new LeBron. That's what LeBron really ate. Obviously, he made 8 straight finals, and I don't think that's ever going to be duplicated. Nobody can do that again. That's a LeBron specialty. But Giannis is now destroying the East, just like LeBron did when he truly hit his prime. In 1991, when Michael Jordan won his first NBA championship, he had the most dominant stretch of basketball in modern NBA history. I feel like everybody knows that. 6 NBA finals, 5 MVPs. We all know Michael Jordan's resume. But most of that dominance starts within his conference. You don't get to 6 NBA finals without destroying the teams that you literally have to go through on a consistent basis. In MJ's championship window, he won 80% of his games versus the Eastern Conference and 4 MVPs. Then in the early 2000s, it was all over the place. We really didn't have one guy dictating the East like MJ did in his prime until LeBron hit his. From 2009 to 2013, during the peak athletic LeBron era, he emerged as that new dude. He won 78% of his games versus the East, similar to Jordan, and 4 MVPs just like Jordan. Well, now, and I don't care how much you don't like him, I don't care how much skill you think he lacks, that new dude has become Giannis. Since he emerged as arguably the best player on the planet 4 years ago, he has a 79 winning percentage within his own conference, smack in the middle between Jordan and LeBron, 2 MVPs, and an NBA championship. If you look at consistency, the player with the highest player efficiency rating in Jordan's reign of greatness was him. Now, PER is an advanced stat that you have to take with a grain of salt. It's not the end-all be-all. It essentially just sums up all the box score categories into one, but it can be useful for general purposes. If you want to see how a player is performing in a general context of things, then yeah, you can give it some validity. But again, take it with a grain of salt. Just for reference, a 35-plus PER is like an all-time great season. A 30 through 35 is like a runaway MVP, and so on and so on. In LeBron's Giannis window, and I'm comparing 08 to 2013 because that's where Giannis is right now through his breakout years, in that time span, there was only one player with a 30-plus PER, and that was LeBron. In Giannis's breakout tenure, and that's obviously from 2018 to right now when he won his first MVP, there's only been one player with a 30-plus PER for that time span, and of course, that's Giannis. Right now, as we currently sit, Giannis is on top of the PER stat, and he's on pace to actually.
Bro, Luka being up there is crazy. I ain't gonna hold you.
Drop, but that's the pace that he's playing.
I mean, Luka's been
even
playing.
If you look at the player that kept Kevin Durant as the second best player on the planet for years,
like 35 or some shit.
Even replaced LeBron in that. In LeBron's Giannis years from 09 to 2013, he had an 8-2 record against KD. Now, from 2019 to right now, Giannis has a 7-2 record against KD. I personally have KD as my 4th best player behind Giannis, Steph, and Luka. But still, when a great player like Michael Jordan or LeBron leaves, we try to build the perfect stories, the perfect narrative, the perfect hype around the next guy. Ben Simmons was supposed to be the next LeBron as a number 1 pick. LeBron even basically claimed him as the next him, the Fresh Prince, all this, but that's clearly not happening. Then
They called him in the Fresh Prince for real. That's crazy.
Another number 1 pick with a lot of hype. And even though Zion is
that was
tremendous,
his nickname.
LeBron's number 1 ability always has been his availability. That's not Zion's. In fact, if you look at LeBron's first 10 years in the league, he played 95% of his games and he never missed a playoff game. That's insane. If you look at Giannis's first 10 years in the league, and this is his 10th season, he's played 91 and he's never missed a playoff game just like LeBron. Now let's look at Ben Simmons's and Zion's. It's not even comparable. In conclusion, Giannis may not have the aura, the storyline, the narrative.
So you use this song without copyright shit?
And all that stuff like LeBron. Hell, he wasn't even born on U.S. soil like some people may prefer. But his impact and dominance thus far, it's in the same realm as LeBron's was at this specific stage in his career. At the top of every single year, we're going to have to consider Milwaukee as a contender because of one man. Just like we did for LeBron, no matter where he was. If you guys like this video, like this video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on.
Okay, so that was shout out to my guy Swishout. Been watching him for a good minute. I like the way he analyzes things in the game. Obviously, that was kind of statistically heavy. Well, it really not that heavy. It was more so looking at percentages of how long guys have played. I don't think the stats were too complicated. But yeah, y'all already know how much I like Giannis. Dude is crazy. Dude has insane production. For me, he's the undisputed. Well, I won't say undisputed, but he's the best player in the world for me right now. There's not really anybody else I can think of that can really be in that category right now with the way he produces numbers and those numbers translate into winning on both sides of the floor. It's insane. What are y'all like initial thoughts on the video in general?
I didn't see anything I disagree with. It made sense to me. I mean, he's putting up the numbers. He's literally dominating. Like even last year against the Celtics, I mean, they lost that series, but they were only in that series because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Sam? Oh, go ahead. My bad. Did I cut you off?
That was the end of my thought for the most part. Yeah.
Pause golf tonight, real quick.
Dramatic fucking controller put down this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely 100% agree. I don't think there's any way you could disagree. I thought that Luka would be the next face of the league for a little bit, but when you put up the stats, that's not like just the availability. That's huge. I thought Zion was going to be the next face of the league as far as popularity goes, but he's not playing games to attract the money that LeBron was doing. Like LeBron, he brought a lot of money to the NBA, and I think that plays a huge factor in who's the face of the league. I think Giannis is actually doing his part to do that. Giannis is very lovable, like to everybody, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee loves this man, especially. So, yeah, it's an argument. I feel like LeBron, it's less of him passing the torch, and really Giannis just taking it. Really, like it's like he's the best person in the league right now.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think the bias of some of the NBA community, they want to hand it to Ja.
Yeah.
Just when it comes to just overall, like, Giannis gives you everything every night. Plays with more energy than I've seen anyone approach the game with consistently. And he's winning, and he's collecting the accolades. I mean, even in the last couple of years, he didn't even have won it over Jokic, but it was arguable. You look at the team records, the Bucks team is still better, and it's mostly because of Giannis. I mean,
that year, honestly, I feel like that was kind of like voters fatigue. I felt like just because like his numbers didn't really dip, and he was still winning just as much. And I'm like, so why is he not an MVP candidate this year? And Jokic is. Oh, because we feel like we robbed Jokic before, didn't give him one he deserved one. We'll give it to him now, and now he has back to back. Out of like this year, I don't know. Honestly, I can see him going back to Giannis with how he's playing right now. I can see him get another one because they're like 7-0 right now, and he's playing out of his mind. But to follow that similar thought as far as like people wanting to give it to Ja, or people wanting to give it to Zion or Luka. I feel like each of them has a case, but Giannis has like all those cases in one. With Zion, it's the star power and the brand recability and the insane numbers. Well, they all have insane numbers, but as far as Zion, that's what the specialty there. Ja kind of has a similar case there. Luka, it's popularity as well, because I got to look at the numbers, but I feel like the international players kind of have more of a popularity because they have international award. Like you look at like Zaza Pachulia gets voted into the All-Star game. What was it? I think it was 2017 he got voted in just off a fan vote before everything else came into it. I'm like, he's not even anywhere near the caliber of player these guys are. So like internationally, as far as popularity goes, making the league money, I can see them pushing one of the international players a lot further as far as being the face. Like, cause it all depends on who they push. But I think Giannis has the numbers, has the international appeal, and native appeal too. Because a lot of people in America love him as well. Plus, his numbers, all that stuff accumulates into him winning. Like he just wins.
He got the hardware. He has the hardware.
Yeah. Right.
What can you say?
But the thing that really impressed me was like he talked about him never missing a playoff game. I remember last year when he like hyperextended his knee. I thought it was over with, and but he came back. Yeah,
we were like, crazy. Like Giannis, he hurt himself before he could get a ring. Chris Paul finally got one. And no,
bro, this mine. I'm taking this.
Came back and played like a god.
Shit.
But yeah, that was just I wanted to give some props to another player. You already know how much I love Giannis. I love a lot of the international players. I feel like they kind of don't get as much shine as they should, just because whatever reason, Americans in general, kind of look at them a certain way, especially with him. Yeah, especially with him when it's like, oh, he doesn't have a bag, he's not skilled. Even NBA players have said shit like that when you have a higher skill set than him, but he's better than you and produces more wins than you. I don't understand.
Those are the same people that said that Shaq couldn't be the best player in the league went before time. It was like hoop soccer.
Was that a narrative though? Because that's what I've never heard when people talk about Shaq and his dominance. I've never heard somebody say his bag wasn't deep. I never hear that. They just talk about his dominance and he won and it was crazy and leave it at that. That's never a thing I hear about Shaq. It's his skill set.
I hear it from Shaq himself just saying, yo, I have to dunk every ball because like that's just what I need to do. Like it ain't no more, I don't need a bag. It's just I'm going to be dominant. And that's why I feel like it has to go to Luka too. Like, because as nasty as the amazing scoring performances that Luka and Ja like put up, and they appear dominant. But it's more so like, how the hell can y'all? Like, well, it's more so with Ja. Like, how the hell can you score this many points with the frame that you have? Luka, we understand he's a point guard and he's 6'7", just dominating. It's still cool to see him make the step backs and all that, and the vision that he has. But Giannis is literally kept the wall off the paint to stop this man from scoring, and then he still scores. And then he plays defense and runs the whole game. So, like, it's just an amazing impact that he can have on his team and the game. It's dominance, and that's what you need to be the face of the league. You got to be able to just be dominant.
Right. Also, I'll say skill set is such a fucking annoying thing because people get into discussing skill set and they don't acknowledge like the fact that Buddy can take the ball off the backboard, off the rim, and go coast to coast, euro or spin or get to the rim almost uncontested. That's a skill set. Not every big can do that. Because if everyone can do that, that's a skill set that every big would have.
I mean, there's a lot of guards that can't do that to that level. Like, go up there, get the board, push it full court past everybody, and get a bucket. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
Even out of that post work, but he's this year he's shooting 35% from the three, which is terrifying because he's shooting league average from the three right now. His mid-range jumper's falling. This dude's posting up and taking post fade and shit now. He's developing, like, for people that say he doesn't have a back, he's developing even bigger one now, where he's doing all the things that you said he can't do. After that, I'm like, bro, what are you gonna say at that point? I don't know what it is to say because he's doing everything you want him to do, and he's doing it better than a lot of bigs can, and still winning.
I feel like that narrative too was kind of forced on him not being skilled because of like that beef he had with James Harden. Like the quote, James was like, yeah, all this I can do, but I mean, I'm sure it's great to be big and fast, but James know he was talking out his ass when he said that because Giannis could barely dribble a basketball when he first got in. So like it takes work to become skilled at the game and coordinated and shit like that. So I mean,
I would say he couldn't barely do it because like I've seen like rookie footage of him. He was what, the 15th pick? He was damn near a lottery pick, I believe. Like Giannis was a raw prospect, but he wasn't that low on a drafting pool. I think it was like 15th to 7th. I could be wrong. He's either like right outside the top 15.
You can double check, but I'm almost certain it's 14.
Yeah, he's either in the lottery or like right outside the lottery. So he wasn't that crazy like of a raw prospect. He was one, but not to the extent like he wasn't Pascal Siakam or Draymond Green, where people thought he was a 47 or Jokic, where he's like a second round pick and just developed all. Like no, he had enough skills and the skill set where a team drafted him in the first round. Where they thought he could develop into something. He was good enough already as what it was, one of the two. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole narrative. I just wanted to get into that really quickly. I thought that'd be something cool we could discuss and show some love to a player I like. You have any closing remarks on it, I guess?
He just got to get some more hardware to just solidify so nobody can say anything else. That's really what it comes down to at this point. If he can continue to win, there's nothing you can say. Not a thing.
7-0.
Dominate the East. I mean, just like the guy said in the video, you got to dominate the conference that you see, that you in, and the teams you see all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum, man, that boy is also out the season. So
yeah, I can see it. He's just Giannis' stats will always be a little cute too, just because he's so elite on both ends. Like, buddy's gonna average like 2 blocks a game almost, and like deter every shot at the rim, while also switching on everything and then dropping 35 to 40. Like, buddy, what was it on? I think it was Utah where he dropped like 40 points in 27 minutes inside the rest of the game.
It's funny as hell. You keep saying Buddy, and then I randomly think you're talking about Buddy Hield. Like that random second. I'm just like, wait, who?
Oh, Jesus. No, it was Houston. He did it on Houston. Oh, Buddy Hield did that, man. We need to trade for him immediately. Gotta get him to LA immediately. If he dropped him 40 in 27 minutes.
Best on the motherfucking faces.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, you had any closing remarks on it?
No, I mean, hey, like I said, he dominates the East, keep doing what he's doing. He's just got to win more. That's all it's going to come down to. How many rings you got? And it comes down to, I mean, I don't feel like it's even disputed. He's going to be the face of the league. I feel like everybody else is just chasing him at this point. But, yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure if the media will ever fully christen him the face of the league, but like, again, if he has the hardware, if he has to continue to get the accolades he's got, there's nothing you can really say to take it away from him.
Buddy has a Hall of Fame career already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what's crazy. Like,
Hall of Famer for today. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm like. Why is that not enough? Like, what more does he have to do to get American appeal? I don't.
You got to talk about the likability, man. You got to talk about how popular he is and what he does on social media and all that. How flashy is he? Yeah, it's all going to come into part. Like, does the world like him? I mean, the league and fans of the game, you can't say nothing about him, but you know, when it comes to the face of the league and all-star votes and all that, knowing basketball really doesn't play all the parts in that.
I feel like he was doing that. Like, even after the finals, when he went, remember after he won the final with that 50-point triple-double, but he went to Chick-fil-A, got a 50-piece nugget. Like, he ordered 50 nuggets.
People touched the globe or the freaking trophy.
That was hilarious. Like, not 51, not 49, not 52, 50.
I was like, where you petty? Oh, God. I do that shit too, honestly. If people talk that much about me and I got that, oh, yeah. I'm getting 55,000 nuggets. I don't care.
But when you win, you're supposed to talk your shit. Like, that's just, that's just how it works.
It's part of it, right?
It is what it is. But you want to do the outro sign?
Oh, all right, y'all. Hey. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us, watching this little reaction video. It was a surprise that it had something to do with LeBron, but I'm proud of Dev that it focused more on Giannis. So kudos to you, my brother. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Follow all socials. And, it's love, always. You know?
Peace.